Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Mr. Hussein Masapi, and so we're going to continue with this question that was solving in the previous video. Alright, let's begin. So it says a helicopter view in the figure, as you can see. Basically this is the figure I've been talking about. Shows two people pulling on a stubborn mule. This is a stubborn guy that we have in the equation or the system. If we were dot driven draw everybody diagram, that means so interesting, but we're not going to do that. So they're saying find the single force equivalent to the two forces, which we have done, so check. So the next problem is to solve B. B says you're trying to look for the force, the third force that a third person would have to apply or exert on the mule to make the net force, or the total sum of all net force, all the forces summed up together, be equivalent to 0. In this case, I don't even know why they had put the forces measured in. You know what, let's just continue solving this. So let's look for that force a third person would have to exert on the mule to make the net force equal to what? 0. So now all you have to do is to find all these forces. So now what are these forces that we are interested in? What are these forces? Let us try to find them. Alright, so let's try to find them and see what we can do. So basically start with force number 1, like I said the last time. So you have how many forces? You have two forces here. So solution, my data is telling me that I have only two forces, because I can only see two forces. Basically I have force 1 and force 2 in this condition. But I need to have three forces, isn't it? So we have two forces, but I need to find that third force. So now let's find the components of all these forces. I'll start with force number 1. Force number 1 is my interest. So now I need to find the size of this force as well as the direction. So the size is 120 newtons. The direction should always be measured from the positive x-axis. This is the positive side of the x-axis. If you measure it from here, go in that side, you'll be having 60 degrees. So 60 degrees like that. And then you have to find the components of this force. So you have the x component. So let me say F 1x will be, remember size cos theta, it's going to be 120 times cos of the direction 60. So F1x is going to be what? If you apply this 120 times cos 60, what are you going to end up having? Yes, it's a 60 newtons. So I found the x component. Now find the y component. So F1y is equal to, remember size sine direction, so 120 times sine the direction, which is 60 degrees. So F1y is equal to what? 120 times sine of that. So it's going to be 120 times sine 60. Alright, so what are you going to have now? You're going to have 60 root 3 newtons, or you can take it in a different manner as 103.92 newtons, like that. So basically that's what you're going to have. Let's now find the components. Let's find the components. Let's find the components of the other force that we have in the question. So what are we going to do now? So let's get the second force that we have. We have force 2. Force 2 has the size. What size does it have? Let's go for the size and the direction. Size is 70. Oh, sorry about that. The size is not really 70 something, it's 80 newtons. And what is the direction? The direction is simply 75 degrees. So all you have to do now is to find the components of these forces. So find the x component of F2. So we're going to look for F2x, which will be 80 cos direction. You remember, it's always supposed to be cos for the x component, and it's supposed to be sine for the y component. So be mindful about that. So it's going to be size, which is 80 times cos direction, which is 75 degrees, and F2x is equal to 80. What is 80 times cos 75? 80 times cos 75, that will be a value of wait. What about a glitch in our video? Alright, so what are we going to do now? So the mistake that we did make here is that the direction that we picked was the wrong direction. So let's fix this. Alright, so the size was actually 8.0 newtons, which is 80 newtons, but the size that we picked was wrong because it can be 80. Remember, it should always be measured from the positive what? X-axis. So it's a positive x-axis, so measure it from this side, boom, going that side. So you know that from here to there it's a 90 degrees. All you have to do is to find this angle. So now to find this angle, you just have to say, okay, that angle theta, which should exist here, is going to be equal to 90 minus what? 75. So basically, if you do up your calculator, what is a 90 minus 75? Basically, you get a 15. And just add this 15 to whatever value that you have on the other side. So the direction theta will just be 90 plus what? 15. So this is going to give you a 1, remember, 90 plus 15 is simply just 105 degrees. Then you can basically now look at the components. So let's find the x component. F2x is equal to the size, which is 80, times cos direction, which is 105. Compute this. If you compute this, you'll be having 80 times cos 105. And you have yourself with minus 20.71 newtons. Like that. Then you then find the y component. The y component is going to be f2y, which is going to be equal to 80 times sine of size that you have, the direction, sorry, 105. So f2y is equal to what? 80 times sine that, 80 times sine 105, basically be what? It is going to be 77.7 newtons. So now you have the components of all these forces that you have, which is simply force 1 and force 2. Just erase this to just have some space for the work. Alright, so you now have the components of these two forces, force 1 and force 2. So now you need to find that third force, which is force 3. Okay, force 3, what is the size of force 3? Let's just say the size is F, because we don't know. What is the direction? We also don't know. Let's just say theta. So let's now try and find that third force that should have the size and what? The direction. So we need to find the size and direction of that force. That which when we add up or sum up all the forces, we get what? 0. So now let's sum up the forces in the x and sum up the forces in the y. So this means that the summation of the forces should equal to what? 0 in all their what? Components. Because they're saying that the third force is a force that we need, such that if we sum up all the forces, that net force will be equal to what? 0. So we don't know the third force, so we can just say the size of it is F and the direction is theta. So if we sum up all the forces in the x and equate to 0, and sum up all the forces in the y and equate to 0, systematically we'll end up finding the value of F. Alright, now before we apply this formula that the summation of forces is equal to 0, remember this force should have what? X and y components. So F3x is going to be equal to what? F cos what? Theta. Then F3y is going to be equal to F sin what? Theta. Because this third force should also have its what? Components. Now let's now say summation of the forces should give me what? 0. So let's sum up all the forces in the x and equate it to what? 0. Let me just write where this could be a lot of space. So let's say summation, start from here. Summation of the forces in the x should give me what? 0. So what forces do we have in the x? We have this one first. So we're going to say, okay, 60. Which other one do we have? We also have this one here. So we can say 60 plus minus 20.71. Which other one do we have? We have this one here. So it's going to say, okay, plus F cos theta is equal to what? 0. This is for the x what? Component. So you know that, okay, this part here can be solved. So let's say 60 minus 20, this is 60, sorry, plus minus 20.71. What are you going to have? You're going to end up having 39.29 plus F cos theta is equal to what? 0. That's what you're having. It's equal to 0. So you have the first what? Equation. So you call this equation what? 1. Then you sum up all the forces in the what? In the y. Say summation of the forces in the y should also give me what? 0. The first sum of force you have in our is that. So we're going to say, okay, my 103.92 plus this guy here, which is 77.27, plus this other guy here. What are we going to have? Plus F sine theta is equal to what? 0. So you can add this part here. So if you add this part, you are saying 103.92 plus 77.27. 103.92 plus 77.27. That will give you basically 181.19 plus F sine what? Theta should equal to what? 0. So this is your equation what? 2. Once you have these two equations, you can solve them systematically. So let me get equation 1, and make F. Let me make F the little formula. So here I'll be having F cos theta is equal to 0. If this goes the other side, what are we going to have? We're going to have a minus 39.29. So F cos theta is equal to what? Negative 39.29, like that. Then I can divide both sides by what? Cos theta. Even this side cos theta, like that. So this cancels with that, and I have F is equal to what? Negative 39.29 over what? Cos theta. So now I know the value of what? F. So I can use equation 2 and put the value of F wherever there is what? F. So equation 2 is here. I'll pick it from there. 181.19 plus F sine what? Theta is equal to what? 0. So 181.19 plus what's the value of F? It's minus 39.29 over cos what? Theta. And this is being multiplied by what? Sine theta. And this is equal to what? 0. So basically the positive is the one that's going to multiply this. And you end up in a negative. And when the sign multiplies that, you have 181.19 minus sine theta over 39.29, like that, over cos what? Theta. And this is equal to what? 0. Now basically what you need to know is this. This is the same as if you have mathematically, this can be written as this 181.19 minus, I can say 39.29 times sine theta over what? Cos theta. And this is equal to 0. Now sine theta over cos theta is tan theta. This gives you tan what? Theta. So basically you can just write this as 181.19 minus 39.29 tan what? Theta is equal to what? 0. So you can now do this systematically. This can either go on the other side of the equation, and you have 181.19 being equal to what? 39.29 tan what? Theta. You see? Now basically we are using C numbers written in this form. 39.29 tan theta is equal to what? 181.19. Divide both sides by 39.29. Even this side 39.29. And you have tan theta is equal to what? 181.19 over 39.29, like that. So since you're interested in theta, you're going to say, okay, theta is equal to what? Tan inverse of what I have, which is 181.19 over 39.29, and I can find what theta is. So I can make a calculator and say shift tan, since you're looking at the inverse function of that. You say 181.19 divided by 39.29, like that. If you compute this, you basically get what? 77.7651620 at 5 degrees. If you round this off, theta is equivalent to 77.8 degrees. Now this is the value of theta. You have solved what? Theta. Wow, you get it correct. Now all you need now is to solve for what? For the force. So remember this answer. Don't forget it. So let's go back to that part that we solved. This part where you made F the subject of formula, this part here. So we pick it up from there. So we're going to say, okay, F is equal to negative 39.29 over cos, what is theta? Theta is found to be 77.8 you write the entire one, not the rounded off value, the one that was not wasn't rounded off, to say 205, like that. So if you say f is equal to this, so now you just have to compute this. So you say, okay, f is going to be equal to minus 39.29 divided by cos of that answer you got, and this will give you negative 185.4009714. So this force is now equal to 185.4 newtons. The force cannot really be I can't really say it. Okay, it's going to be negative what? 185.4 newtons, as you can see. Now this force here that we have found here represents the entire force that we have. Now if you look here, if you sum up all the forces, let's try and sum up all the forces here. If you say 39.29 plus the force that you found here, which is 185, so we could say 39.29 plus the force that you found, which is negative 185.4. if you're trying to prove from this point of view here, times cos its angle, which is found to be what? The angle is found to be 77.8. So its angle, which is 77.8, and try and see what you get. You find that you get a value that is close to nothing. So this is basically the answer of what you are looking for, the third force. Alright, thanks for watching. This is Mr. Hussein. If you have a question, kindly contact me on WhatsApp on the number that's on the top left corner. Alright, this question is very simple. You have to do exactly what I've done. Alright, remember to strategize before you become a statistic. Let's try and push for that A+.